The boss gave him the night off. Me? I always work late.
You know, I have a serious question to ask for a moment. What the hell is it about us all of a sudden having awesome Batman team-ups with characters we never thought we'd get to see as kids, but now all of a sudden we're getting as adults? Seriously, think about it. I mean, what the hell is it gonna be next? A crossover with the Justice League and Power Rangers? Huh, that would actually be likely and pretty badass to see. Okay, DC, Hasbro, please, get right on this, right now. Damn it. I dragged out this intro too long. Let's just start the review. God, I hate trying to be funny. What's up, Internet? Jedi Bender here, back again for another DC animated film review. And today, it is one that I know that you and I have been looking forward to ever since it was announced all the way back in March. And that is, for the first time in animation history, the Batman vs. the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, there is a ton of hype surrounding this film. So much so that we have to ask ourselves, did it deliver on expectations, or is it just best to, well, stick with its comic counterpart? Well, let's go ahead and dive in to find out. Batman vs. TMNT sees our two heroes from two different cities come together to try and stop their greatest enemies of all time, the Shredder and Ra's al Ghul, from destroying Gotham City once and for all. They also have to deal with some of the city's worst villains being set on the loose, while also being enhanced by a certain chemical. So, the question is, will Batman and the Turtles be able to trust each other to stop the villains, or are they going to have their greatest failure come to pass? So, right off, this film was just a blast of excellence from beginning to end. Everything about it was just on point. So, you know how I like to do things, so let's just not waste any time in talking about the most important thing that made this movie work as a whole, and that is its story. Now, going into this, I wasn't sure what to expect. Either a full-on adaptation, or something that would pretty much stand on its own. And to my surprise, it was actually a little bit of both. We still have some comic nods here and there, the dialogue is actually straight up from the book, and the film decides to actually do its own thing by having our characters not be set in two different dimensions, but the same universe. This, of course, is much better in having these two come together and try and work together. So it's essentially not two worlds colliding as it is, well, two cities colliding. So now let's go ahead and talk about the villains of the story. Now, if you have seen the trailer, read the comic, or even seen the film by now, you should know that the villains' motivations are pretty much typical bad guy talk. They want to take over the world, but also want to take over their existing clan as well. Now, this makes the film much more fun, and it doesn't take itself too seriously for that matter either. It knows how goofy this is, and it just tries to have fun with the whole thing. And of course, it's TMNT. You have to have some crazy wackiness go down. So, I think that this film definitely delivers on that, but it also doesn't shy away from having some very serious moments and even some hardcore violence. So, in that matter, I really think that the story as a whole was very, very well executed. But also, upon my second viewing of the film, I noticed that it was about trust and family instead of just having these two work together just because of the novelty of it. So, in all, this is pretty much just a comic book crossover film, and it has so much fun with Batman and the Turtles just interacting together and having some great moments with each other as well. It's basically a roller coaster of a movie. So let's go ahead and move on to the voice acting. Okay, I have to be completely honest with you all. this may be one of the best set of voice acting I've heard in a DC animated film all year. Second, of course, only to Justice League versus the Fatal Five. Everyone gave such a great performance and just did so much justice to these characters. But let's just go ahead and start off with our main leads. Troy Baker is back once again to reprise his role as Batman. Now, you may know Troy as the voice of Batman from the Telltale series, which I hate that it got cancelled. But nevertheless, it is great to see him back once again playing this character. And as many of you have already heard or noticed, there are actually some parts in this film where he sounds identical to Kevin Conroy. I was very surprised on how much he had improved since then, and I actually want to see him play Batman in more animated PG-13 films. So yeah, he was overall the best Batman in this, and I love that it's not too serious, but it's not too lighthearted either. It's right in the middle. Now, yes, of course, we have to talk about his dual performance as he plays the Joker in this. I will say this, his Joker voice has actually grown on me, and it was pretty funny hearing him talk to himself and just having some great banter. And as you all know, this now makes Troy Baker the first actor to play both Batman and the Joker, which I know my friend 8-Bit Misfit's not gonna like. Moving on, let's talk about the Turtles. Oh my god. They were amazingly well casted. We have the talented, awesome Eric Barraza as Leonardo, Darren Criss as Raphael, Kyle Mooney as Michelangelo, and Baron Vaughn as Donatello. All four of these guys were just fantastic. Now, going back to what me and my friend Duo Dreamer said in our honest thoughts on this film, we were very happy that these four have their own distinct voices and personalities and not feeling like just the same character. They had great chemistry with one another, and there's actually some great moments I liked where the actors really immersed themselves into the roles. Hell, there were some moments with the four turtles that I won't spoil, but one of them with Raphael in the end, it was just so beautifully handled and well acted, I was about to cry. Oh, and of course, the comedy from Mikey had me smiling the whole way through. He couldn't get any more funny. If you're a Michelangelo fan, you're gonna love this take on him. Plus, I think these are my favorite turtle voice actors since, well, the 2012 Turtles and the 2003 Turtles. So, great job overall, guys. You did an amazing job. So now we come to the main villains themselves, Ra's al Ghul and the Shredder. Both of them were just great to hear. Kaz Anvar was pretty on point with the Demon's Head himself, and I have to admit, I still do to this day prefer David Warner as Ra's al Ghul, as he just had that amazing voice to him. But I did think that Kaz did a great job with his role. It was very good, and I'm happy with what we got. Also, Andrew Cristiano did a phenomenal job as Shredder. I'm not even kidding. He was probably the highlight out of the two for me. This is also the darkest and most ruthless take on the character we've probably seen in animation. Well, except the 2012 cartoon, of course. But that doesn't matter. I stand by my point. The Shredder in this was just amazing. I loved him so much, and I really hope that Andrew gets to play him again. That's how much he was great. That's how good he was in this. Okay, now that we're done talking about the main leads, let's just go ahead and get into the supporting characters. Now, the heroes' side characters, which included Alfred, Batgirl, and Robin, they were all pretty good, and I liked how they were well voice acted, and they just sounded, well, fantastic. And of course, the villains were also pretty damn great as well. They just delivered some great and fantastic performance. I was legitimately happy when they showed up. Yes, even Tara Strong. Don't push it, internet. Okay, so basically, you all get the point. The voice acting in this was just great. And with that being said, I want to say a big thank you to Wes Gleason for doing yet another killer job as voice director. You rock, sir. And here it is. I saved the best for last. The animation. Where to begin? Okay, well, for starters, look at this film! It looks beautiful and so gorgeous! This has to be some of the best animation for a DC animated film since Batman Under the Red Hood! Now, I realize that that last one may have been a bold statement to make, but seriously, this looks like an IDW comic book come to life, mixed in with some great Batman the Animated Series vibes for good measure. Everything just pops right off the screen. The characters are well detailed. The backgrounds are just fluid and amazing looking. The aesthetic for Gotham is also just beautifully designed. And there are even certain scenes where you would see the characters in silhouette whenever they were either fighting or just sneaking around. It legitimately looks like a comic book panel image. Plus, the action. Oh my god! The fight scenes in this film literally gave me a fan heart attack. There are some amazing details in how they constructed these fights. Each character has a certain flow to them. They have their own unique fighting style, so that way we don't get confused in who's fighting the other. And to top that off, there are actually some amazing hand-to-hand choreography shots going on here. Seriously. Now, yes, to play devil's advocate here, there are some odd shots like any DC animated film, but that's pretty much the smallest nitpick I could possibly make about its animation, and for 90% of the whole thing, it still was on point, and I didn't have a problem with it at all. My jaw was just floored. I could go on for hours upon hours of how everything and everyone looks, but I'll end it off right here. This animation is just a work of comic art. Okay, it's clear to heaven that I adore this movie. It's pretty much obvious at this point, and everything that was in it. But that leads one to ask, does this film have any flaws in it? Yes, and I am gonna say it. We needed more of this. By the time it was over, I wanted a sequel like that. We have been waiting for so long to get this film. I'm finally happy I got to watch it. And there is another thing I should mention. There is actually a post-credit scene that does hint at a sequel, so maybe if we keep supporting this, who knows, we could get one. But as a standalone film, I thought this was just fantastic, and if it didn't get a sequel, I'd be fine with that, because it pretty much did everything I wanted it to do. I mean, hell, we have the trilogy, so if you want more of this, you can just go read the books. Okay, now, I have another thing to ask. Nickelodeon, please, if you can make more TMNT PG animated films like this, that will be awesome. Just with these incarnations of the turtle, I think you guys could kill it. Okay, so to get serious here for a minute, I actually have a bit of a story to tell. As a kid, I had always wanted these two to come together in a movie. It was my fantasy. I never thought it could happen. Hell, as a kid, you pretty much just play with action figures and make up your own fantasies on how it could go. But now, in 2019, I am happy that Nickelodeon, Warner Brothers, and DC actually made that dream come true for people like me. Because when I first got to see and read the comic, it put just the hugest smile on my face. And I would imagine that an adaptation of this would do exactly the same. And I wasn't wrong. This film pretty much is the one surprise hit we didn't know we wanted, but now we're happy we have. Seriously, if you love Batman, you're gonna love this. There are tons of great Batman Easter eggs from the comics, from the movies, from the TV shows. You will be in awe on how much this really treats the Dark Knight. If you're a TMNT fan, you're gonna love this even more. They reference the movies, the comics, and the TV shows. There are some fantastic Easter eggs. Now, I really can't mention these, even though I really want to, but please, you just need to see the film to believe it for yourself. Now, what more can I say about this film that I haven't said already? It was amazingly packed with some great voice acting, action, an amazing story, beautiful animation, comedy, and just delivered a fun experience for both Batman and Turtle fans alike. I could not give this any higher than an A+. Please, I recommend that you stop what you're doing and just go watch this film. Please support it on digital or just go buy it on Blu-ray when it comes out next month. You will not regret it. Thank you, Warner Brothers and Nickelodeon, and to the entire cast and crew. If you're watching this, you made this fanboy's dreams come true, and I can't thank you enough for it. So guys, that's pretty much it. I apologize for sounding a bit rusty and for being gone, but trust me, more videos are coming. So if you enjoyed this one, then please hit that like button. And if you want to see more, then please hit that subscribe button. I love to have you. And to make sure you never miss a video when it goes live, hit that little bell icon. But if you are interested in more DC animated content, then please go check out my friends over at Watchtower Database's newest video on the Justice League vs. Fatal 5, and finally, where it fits in the timeline. They went really in-depth on this, and I think you guys will pretty much enjoy what you see. Also, if you enjoyed hearing my friend 8-Bit Misfit as the Joker, then please go to his channel and support him. He does a lot of Joker content and Joker voice commissions. So if you want some awesome lines from the Clown Prince of Crime, then go support his channel. As always, thank you to my editor and friend Noble Absent for putting this video together and for the awesome thumbnail made by ToonGrin. Both of them are awesome, and you should definitely go check them out. So, this is the Jedi Bender saying, I'll go ahead and see you guys for the next DC animated film. Be here, my friends. Goodbye, everybody.